Well, Dale, I understand that we're going to sit around and we're going to talk about estate planning.
Yes.
Right? Wills, things like that. Things that we can do to, help the church in the future. And one of the things I thought about was just really talking about the gifts that people have given us in the past.
Yeah. Of the 40 years I've been here as a member, we've received well over $1.4 million.
Yeah, it's amazing.
From estates.
Yeah.
Many of the people, as a for instance, we had one donor that she was a member here, grew up as a child, she loved this church, their family loved the church. She moved out west, and 40 years later.
Yeah, 40 years.
40 years later, she dies by herself, and she left $175,000 to our church.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is. Well, I was thinking about that, and the problem with wills, and estate planning and things like that, is people always think that's an old person's, problem, right?
Exactly.
And I was thinking about, and this really came to light for me because my father, it's been a year since he passed away, but he died without a will. And I was thinking about, everybody should have a will. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Everybody, young, old, whatever, because you want your wishes to be known. But one of the easiest ways to give to the church is that in your will and in your life insurance policy, you can have your beneficiaries as be one of the church. Have the beneficiary be one of the church. You can do it as a percentage a lot of times. Like if you got 2 kids, they could get, 45%, that's 90%, 10% going to the church. And that, it doesn't sound like a lot, but over the years,
it really adds up.
It really adds up, yes. And it's an easy way, too, to plan for the future and plan for the church. In the 10 years, it's been amazing how we're getting income now from some of our investments that it's not that we didn't have investments, we had savings accounts and stuff, but we've turned that into income that comes in quarterly. It helps us meet expenses. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, due to people donating money out of their will, and speaking about wills, which is really a significant part of this, many of the people of the parish pledge faithfully.
Mm-hmm.
They say, God is asking us to give out of gratitude, to give 10%,
mm-hmm.
Of whatever our disposable income is. But they don't think about that in terms of when life ends.
Yes, yeah.
And many people that I've talked to over the years have now realized that you really need to put 10%, if you believe that, if you've lived that through your whole life,
mm-hmm.
put 10% for the church, in your will.
I agree.
And then divide it up the rest to wherever you want it to go.
Right.
We are now receiving, in excess of $40,000 a year,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
of income due to estate planning.
Yes. Yeah, Ada Doris Hofsis and her estate planning.
And Debbie Marsteller.
Debbie Marsteller, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's only through, in that particular case, that we had enough money to put a new roof on the church.
Oh, amen. Yeah, exactly.
To make major repairs, which would not have been possible
if it hadn't been for
without
Debbie.
that money at that time.
Yes. And Debbie knew that too. And Debbie, it was one of the ways that she loved this church so much.
Did.
And I remember you and I going over there toward the end of her life, and she was like, I trust you all that this church is going to be what it needs to be for other people and for the choir and all that stuff. And,
absolutely.
And yeah, it makes a huge difference.
It does. And one of the reasons that I continue to support the church as best I can is I want this to be here for my children.
Yeah, absolutely.
And unless we do some estate planning, that's in jeopardy.
Well, yeah, I think at each church, I think I've told you this before, I mean, I came from a very large church, the 8th largest Episcopal church in the country, had sent me to seminary. They have about a $22 million a year budget.
Yeah.
But most of that money comes from endowments, comes from people doing estate planning who gave of their life earnings so that other people could benefit from that for their children and their children's children. And it's a wonderful gift. Debbie didn't have any children. I remember she was like,
she did not.
She goes, "You guys are my children." I remember she used to say that in the kitchen. "You all are my children," and I expect you, because she always said to me just like that, "I expect you, Father Mike, to keep this place running and do what needs to be done." And it's just because it meant so much to her in her life. So yes, I think estate planning is one of those things too that's not that hard. If you have life insurance, look at your life insurance. See what your beneficiaries are. If it's possible, you can give the church 10% of a life insurance policy. Easy change.
Yeah.
Change it to that. Do that. If you don't have a will, let me encourage you to get a will. That way you could do estate planning. It doesn't matter how old you are. If you own anything, we got to figure out, how to divide those assets up, and you want people to know exactly what your wishes are. Of course, we need people to pledge. Amen. We need people to pledge.
Yes, we do.
But it also is estate planning is another way of, thinking about the church and thinking about the future and thinking about what impact we can make on others that come after us by what we do.
Yeah, often I know people my age start thinking about, did I make a difference,
Yes.
through my life?
Yes.
What did I accomplish? I have children. Some people look at the amount of money, that they accumulated, things that they accumulated. But this is one way, in your will, to make a difference for the future.
Yes.
After you leave this earth, to give 10%, if that's what you decide. I know with Debbie Marsteller, she wouldn't mind me telling you this. She asked me to help her with being the executor of her estate. And we sat down with the attorney, and he's going over all these percentages. And she said, "I have 10% for the church. What do you think?" I said, "Debbie, it's your money." And she said, "Well, what do you think?" And I said, "You know the needs of the church. You know the wonderful outreach program, that we have, and the number of people that we're helping,
Yeah.
All right, change that to 20%.
Thank God.
That 20%, was a significant amount of money.
Oh, yes, it was. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's our responsibility to communicate this information to everyone.
I agree. Yeah, everyone.
And the church needs to provide this information and to assist wherever they can. And we're here to help anyone who would like information about that.
And we're going to have some brochures that the Church Foundation has developed for estate planning, that we'll have those available to people. And I know I am available, and Dale's available at any time to talk about that.
We've been here for over 300 years, but it's only because,
I'm not going to be here that much longer. No, I'm just teasing. No, but it is because of other people who have come before us.
Yes.
And done the work, had visions.
Yeah.
Had visions for what we're going to do. I mean, I hope 50 years from now, whoever the priest is said, they're going to look back and say, "Thank God for those people who had a vision for the outreach house."
Yes.
You know what I mean? To feed the hungry and clothe the naked. Thank God that they did the work to fix this building so it's still viable and usable. Wow, too many churches, I think you'll agree with me, too many churches we go to and look at or need our help, the building's falling down around their ears and it becomes an albatross around their neck. We don't want that. We want this church to be viable. We want it to be a center where God changes people's lives. We're a center where people can do the ministry of Christ in the world, and do this to know and serve God by serving others, Amen?
Amen.
That's what we need. And one of the ways we can ensure that is to do some proper estate planning and do some proper planning in the future. Well, I hope this has been informative.
Yeah.
I've had fun.
So have I.
Yeah. If you guys got any questions, don't
Just
hesitate
give us a call.
Don't hesitate to ask us. Amen.